Namor, his boyhood diyor. Background hikayesi gibi bir şey it seems. A Submariner Story by Ray Jill. Okay. Ray Jill başka bir isim lan. Bill Everett and Ray Jill falan olurdu gerçi. Namor maneuvered the rope until it was directly in front of the killer whale's head and then jerked it back while he swam quickly for the surface. Tamam. Şuradan başlayalım da. Prince Namor the submariner swam silently through the clear, green waters of the Antarctic, happy to be alive. He had just passed his 15th birthday, though he didn't celebrate it with a party as we would instead. He celebrated by swimming from the underwater kingdom of the submariner people to the outside waters in search of adventure. Bu mu 15 yaşında IQ? Saçlarının rengi açılmış, başka hiçbir değişiklik yok yani. Vücudun aynı vücut. Benim 15 yaşımda böyle bir vücudum olsaydı diyecek bir şey yok yani. Submariner, though still a boy, was possessed of great strength and ability. Many times he had raised large fish and stolen rice on the backs of giant turtles. But now, being all of 15, he was seeking something greater to accomplish. I don't know what this great deed will be, Namor mused as he cut through the water, but I will know it when, but I will know it when, but I will know it when I chance upon it. When I have done this thing, I shall be able to accept my place in life in proportion to my years, but not until. Suddenly, Prince Namor ceased his swimming and instinctively dove for the protection afforded by a group of undersea rocks. Ahead of him loomed the dim outline of a giant killer whale. Holy catfish, Namor remembered the story his mother once told him about the giant whale that killed 20 submariner hunters before he had been subdued. If I've been looking for trouble, here it comes. Namor deliberated. Should he follow his mother's advice about staying away from killer whales, or should he show his approaching manhood by swimming up to meet the giant single-handed? Or should he show his approaching manhood by swimming up to meet the giant single-handed? Böyle, bu tonda daha doğru. He slowly unhooked the long length of tough rope he had been carrying and suddenly darted toward the huge animal. And do it, he cried, filled with the excitement that lay ahead. He swam straight up and under the whale, who was staying strangely close to the surface. He set his trap, simply a large coil of rope with two small bladders, or balloons, on the sides of the loop. These balloons he filled with air from his lungs. He was equipped with the strange submariner underwater lungs afforded by nature. Burayı tam anlamadım. These balloons he filled with the air from his lungs. He was equipped with the strange submariner underwater lungs afforded by nature. Akciğerlerin olmasının kendisi ilginç zaten. Yani aynen. Underwater lungsları varmış. Afforded by nature. And let them carry the loop to the surface. He maneuvered it until it was directly in front of the whale's head, and then jerked it back while he swam quickly for the surface. The rope's end stayed loose in his hands for a brief moment, but suddenly it jerked so hard, he thought his arms were going with it. He felt himself being pulled through the water so fast that it hurt his tough skin. Namor raised his face and peered ahead through the swirling water. What he saw surprised him. There was another rope on the whale. What is it, he wondered. Is it possible that others have ridden this whale before me? He crept forward on his rope and soon was standing, as on an underwater aquaplane on the back of the whale close to the other rope. He examined it and found that it was attached to some sort of spear embedded in the skin of the mammal. This is strange. I have never seen such a spear before. He grasped the spear. It was a large harpoon and gave it a strong pull. It came out, sending him spinning backwards off the whale's back. The killer whale dove deeply, leaving Namor high and wet. Uh-oh, uh-oh, he'll turn and come straight at me now. Namor tried to figure a way of fighting the great underwater beast. I'm afraid this will be his round. He tensed himself and waited. Why doesn't he return for the kill? The submariner wondered. This is not like the whale my mother spoke of. This one was almost thankful. Yes, that is it. That is it. He must have known that I have helped him. Namor, filled with wonder, swam to the surface of the Antarctic Ocean. Now I must find the hunter who did this thing. Namor broke the surface near a dark, floating mass. He had never seen a boat before and came up too close. On board a small dory, the 5 men, sent from the large whaler boat some distance away, were amazed at the sight of the strange face popping out of the water hundreds of miles from land. The boat was equipped with a large harpoon gun in the bow, and the men were armed with rifles. They had harpooned the killer whale, but it had escaped. The man studied the submariner in the water, and he studied them. What are these people who sit in balls on top of the water? Namor pondered as he swam toward them, heedless of fear. He reached the side of the boat and started to pull himself up, but the man at the harpoon gun, frightened, smashed the side of a harpoon down on him. Namor, not expecting the blow, felt the full force of it and dropped back into the water, unconscious. Pull him in, whatever he is. We should get a good price from a museum for his body. They hauled the unconscious Namor aboard and proceeded to tie him up. We will take him back, but if he tries to fight, shoot him. But what about the whale? One of the crew asked. This is more valuable to us than 5 whales, the leader said. This man is obviously something like a mermaid, only it's a male. I have never heard of such a thing before. Man, we have made an important discovery. They started to row back to the ship with the bound submariner. Far below the surface, the killer whale still churned the sea. It felt the loss of the harpoon, and its sharp eyes followed the swimming submariner. Something made the whale realize that he had made a friend. He waited for the submariner to come back into the water to get a better look at his new friend, but Namor didn't return. He was in the boat. The whale shot to the surface, fearful that his new friend had met with pain at the hands of the strange man, as he had. His great hulk hit the bottom of the boat, cracking it in two and spilling the occupants into the sea. His keen eyes waited for the form that was the submariner's. Instead, he saw 6 bodies, all similar. Thinking that they were all like his new friend, the whale turned and gratefully swam away. The whalers, floundering in the icy water, shooted at the tops of their lungs. Aboard the large whaler boat, the lookout heard them, and another boat was sent to their rescue. The whalers, floundering in the icy water, shooted at the tops of their lungs. Aboard the large whaler boat, the lookout heard them, and another boat was sent to their rescue. Burayı anlamadım bir. Düşünüp geliyorum. Anladım. Şu Whalers'ı Wales gibi hep okuyup durdum falan. Whaler olunca balinacılar falan. Hani o balinaları avlayanlar falan insanlardan bahsediyor yani. Ben de diyorum balinaların sesine ne diye insanlar geliyor falan oldum hani. Şimdi kaptım ama. The Whalers, floundering in the icy water, shooted at the tops of their lungs. Aboard the large whaler boat, the lookout heard them, and another boat was sent to their rescue. Meanwhile, some mariners sinking to the depths with his bound arms and legs regained consciousness. He quickly broke his bones and rubbed his aging head. What has happened? He asked himself. It all seems like a dream. First, I meet with a killer whale that does not kill, and then I see men that are afraid of water and sit in a hollow shell. It is a strange world, with men who kill and whales who don't. But then, as my mother has often cautioned me, I am young and can't expect to understand everything in one lifetime. I am young and can't expect to understand everything in one lifetime. İyi bağlı. Öyle diyorsan öyleymiştir yani. Diyoruz. The Angel diyor. Diyecek bir şey var mıdır? Nope. Hadi görüşürüz.